Good morning, radio listeners. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Friday edition of the Morning Buzz. And I'm Leslie Gallagher, joined by my co-host,
Jake Goetz,
and our newscaster,
and a broadhead,
and our sportscaster,
Cameron Martin.
And behind the scenes, of course, is our assistant producer, Kenny Horn. And we got a good show today. What are we going to be talking about today, Jake?
Oh man, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about Rutgers requiring students to take the vaccine if they want to come back on campus next semester.
Crazy.
And new wait, never mind. And some people are lying to get their COVID vaccines. And a really unfortunate story about an Arrested Development star, but we'll get into that when it's time. I don't want to start crying now.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But to dive into some hard news today, we've got Anna Broadhead with her newscast.
Good morning, Buzz listeners. This is Anna Broadhead bringing you this morning's top news stories. In international news, a large shipping container, which is almost a quarter of a mile long, is stuck in the Suez Canal. After strong winds caused the ship to get lodged on one of the canal's banks on Tuesday, the shipping container has caused serious backups in one of the world's most important shipping lanes. An Egyptian salvage company is working to get the ship out, but warns it could take days or even weeks to solve the issue. In the American Southeast, tornadoes and violent storms hit communities and caused the deaths of at least 5 people. The storm started just west of Birmingham, Alabama, and traveled north through the state. Officials are warning residents of Georgia, South Carolina, and even those as far north as Tennessee to be prepared for the storm to hit them. Our thoughts are with those who have been affected during this time. Now, some uplifting news out of New Jersey. A cat named Alexander has just been reunited with his family in South Jersey after 2 years of being missing. After Alexander slipped out of a screen door 2 years ago, he's been roaming the streets as a stray. He was brought into an animal shelter by a stranger, and his microchip led vets to his family's and his eventual reunion. Montclair State students received a promising announcement this past week that the university plans to provide students with a, quote, new normal, unquote, experience for the fall 2021 semester. The university is planning to offer a full range of in-person classes, in-person student events, and to have the residence halls at full capacity if COVID allows. And now for a quick weather report. It's going to be a cloudy day in Montclair. The high for the day is 78 degrees and the low is 49 degrees. And sunset will be at 7:16 p.m. tonight. That's it for today's news update. This is Anna Broadhead reporting for WMSC 90.3.
Thank you, Anna. I liked all of your newscasts except the part where you said it's going to be cloudy and misty today because I'm just not a fan. Although it's really not your fault, so I guess I can't blame you.
At a high of 78.
A high of 78
for.
But like it's still kind of yucky. I mean, at least when I walked here, it was very like misty and just like a little humid.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm muted. It could
You
be
were
kind
muted.
of a vibe, the misty thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It could be like, you could feel like you're in, like, The Fog or something, like the horror movie.
Yeah, it was a foggy morning. And especially when it's like at night, it can feel like a horror movie.
Yeah, it gets spooky, right? Oh my god.
Yeah. You know what's so sad about the fog here in Montclair is normally when I'm walking here, I can kind of like see the skyline as I'm coming here and the sun's rising and it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
But when it's super foggy, it's just you look out and it's just like
It's
nothing.
clouds.
Yeah.
Aw. It's so sad.
Those are those things that like you wish that you were able to get a good view of.
Well, anyways, we've got our sportscast with Cam Martin. Cam, take it away.
All right, so a lot of NBA trade happened yesterday. The trade deadline occurred yesterday, and there were 16 trades that went on. We're going to talk about the top 5. Miami got Victor Oladipo in exchange for Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a draft swap with Houston. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
The Clippers received Rajon Rondo from the Atlanta Hawks for Lou Will and 2 second-round picks. The Trailblazers received Norman Powell from the Raptors for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. The Bulls got Nikolai Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu from the Magic for Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, and 2 second-round draft picks. And the Nuggets got Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark from the Magic for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a first-round pick. A lot of Garys got traded yesterday. And the rumor that Kyle Lowry will be traded proves to be false. He will finish the season as a Raptor and then most likely hit the free agent market. And recap wise, Miami took on Portland in the American Airlines Arena. TJ McCollum is playing like a man on a mission, finishing with a game high of 35 points. Dame Lillard hit the decisive trio of free throws, giving the Trailblazers a 125-122 victory. The Sixers headed west to the Staples Center to take on the defending champs. The Lakers, missing LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they look lost out there. Danny Green hit 8 threes en route to a 28-point performance and a 109-101 Sixer victory. Alec Burks had a 27-point performance and gave the Knicks a 106-102 victory over Washington. The Knicks look like a serious contender, maybe not this season, but in the near future, they might have a championship or two. And MSU athletic news, after being down 1-0 to the rival Pioneers, the women's soccer team surged towards a 4-goal second-half performance. Sophia Ambrosio knocked in 2 goals, and Jesse DeSarmo hit a deep goal outside the goalie's box. Baseball played a doubleheader yesterday. 7 hours of baseball against NJCU. They handled business the first time around, winning 12-3. Game 2, however, was high in drama. Entering extra innings, the Gothic Knights took a 2-run lead, but Brody Lay and Joe Norton decided the game was not over yet. Heading into the bottom of the 11th, Montclair trailed 2 once again, but Andrew Allworther got on base, Mike Murphy got on base, Eric Hafner got offered a sacrifice but got on base anyway. Sam Angelo gets hit by a pitch with bases loaded, giving Montclair a run. Brad Edwards gets walked, allowing another Montclair run to tie the game up. Then Anthony Marino hits the walk-off single to give Montclair the 11-10 victory. An absolute thriller last night. And the women's volleyball team took on Stockton, the top seed. And unfortunately for Montclair, the season of dreams came to an end as Stockton handled them. It was still an exciting time to watch and being able to be a fan of them this season. Looking forward to see what they can achieve this upcoming fall. And, I'm just really excited to see what Montclair State can do next season, redemption season.
Yeah, me too. It's always good to root for your own teams,
Yeah.
And that's it with the sports for today.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Cam.
Well said, thank you at the same time. Look at us, Jake.
You're very. I was very riveting sports.
Very riveting sports. Oh yeah, you and me, all about them sports. Well, anyways, let's move on to our first story because I feel like we've got a lot to talk about today, and most of it is COVID-related news, but it's not too, I don't know, intense, I guess. I don't know how to phrase it, but COVID news is sometimes really sad. This is just a lot of these stories are just crazy. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but okay, the first one isn't crazy. All right, so
we'll jump into it.
How about you do it, Jake?
Oh, for sure. Rutgers will require students to get vaccinated in the fall. Rutgers University will require students to get vaccinated against COVID-19 before the fall semester, announced yesterday. This is coming from NJ.com. Over 70,000 student school will allow medical and religious exemptions, but other than that, it's required. Their goal is to make the safest campus in America. It will not require a facility and staff to get vaccinated.
Faculty.
Wow, I don't know how to read.
It's okay.
Faculty. Wow.
Yeah, faculty and staff won't be required to get it, but students will.
Okay, and it sounds like Governor Murphy came out and supported this just as a good mandate to ensure safe reopening. And and this is not just at the Newark campus, this is all of their campuses across, like, I don't know, there's more than one. So
I think there's 3.
There's 3.
There's 3, right? Yeah.
Rutgers Camden, Rutgers New Brunswick, and Rutgers Newark.
Yeah, wait, Cam, didn't you go to Rutgers?
Oh, right.
Me? No.
No? I'm thinking of somebody else. Oh, I'm thinking of our producer.
Oh, yeah.
Our producer did, yeah.
I thought maybe both of you did. I have no idea where I got that from. I know you gave me Rutgers vibes. Maybe it's just because your shirt's red, but it says Montclair State. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but
it's the weather. It's the weather getting to you.
The weather's bugging me out.
Wait a second. So that's kind of odd. You need to get the vaccine.
Yeah,
I understand this. I don't know.
I understand it, and I don't even think it's a bad thing. It's just, it feels really soon to me.
Really?
I mean, like maybe like by the time it's September, which maybe feels like, oh, like next semester sounds really close, but honestly, it is months away. So maybe that's why they're just taking this precaution, letting people know, like, you need to get vaccinated before you come to our campus. We're letting you know months in advance, you know.
Yeah.
So
No.
that part makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of like I get that they want to be safe and all, but at the same time, requiring a vaccine,
Yeah.
it's like at the
It
same,
does feel a little strong, right?
yeah,
It's like that's a lot.
like
It's a lot
you're-
to ask of some people who especially don't feel comfortable taking it.
yeah.
And just, I don't know, maybe people in general, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I understand why they're requiring it, and how it eventually in our future, I mean, this thing, I mean, I think vaccines will be required for, like, it'll become like a standard, I think, you know, the COVID-19 vaccine, kind of like how we get the flu, although that's not
Mhm.
required, but like, you know,
Yeah.
like if you're dorming on campus here, you need to have like your
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
you
shots.
meningitis
have to have a
shots.
You
bunch
just have,
of
you just have shots
yeah.
anyway.
I
That,
think
that's
the
Yeah.
flu vaccine was a requirement for Montclair students who live on campus. I remember
This
getting
year
an
was.
email.
This
Oh yeah,
year
this
was.
year. And in
Yeah,
normal
for the
year it
spring
wasn't.
semester.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rutgers should probably, like, if they're going through with this, maybe be more proactive about helping students get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Because I know right now a lot of students are probably like, they don't even know
Yeah, they
where
don't
to
know when
go.
they can get it. What if they can't
Like-
get an appointment and then they're not allowed on campus? Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
Seems chaotic.
August is a couple months away, and you need to prep, you know, unless you're getting Johnson & Johnson, you need to prep
Mhm.
a month before that date so you can get, you know,
Yeah.
both your doses. So I feel like maybe if Rutgers set up like a vaccination on site on their campuses, I feel like that would encourage students a lot more to
It
get the
was
vaccine.
it was mentioned in this article how that is in the works, but not quite yet done yet. But they're looking into it, I'm pretty sure, because I mean, I guess they want to make it accessible to everyone
Yeah.
as much as possible. I mean, if you're not eligible, you're not eligible. But I mean, we can get that into our next story there. A little bit of foreshadowing. But I mean, so I feel like the thing with New Jersey schools is that once one school kind of does
Yeah.
something, the rest sort of follow.
Yeah.
And so, do you guys think this will happen at Montclair
Ooh.
State?
Um,
That's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. It's a very like it kind of makes sense. It's like especially because like I feel like vaccines are like the entire reason we feel comfortable going back. So if people aren't getting them, that's kind of a problem. Which I don't know. It's hard because I know like if people don't feel comfortable getting it, it's like that's kind of tough. But it's also like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I'm not really sure how to.
Yeah, and it's also just like it reminds me of power and vaccines and how like you shouldn't be forcing someone to get a vaccine if they don't trust it. Like it's I understand if you don't
Yeah.
want to get it. Like
Yeah.
it's just not, it doesn't seem fair, and I don't know.
I think on an email we got back in here, they said that they weren't. Montclair said that they weren't going to require these data. All the New Jersey school follow along.
Hmm.
They change it up about what they really want out of the student body.
Right.
I'm not. I have no say in which side I'm for
Hmm.
because just like it's still up in the air for me.
Yeah,
But-
it's really early on. I mean, the vaccine like is kind of just came out. I mean, not
Yeah.
like just came out, but
But
like
like it's
it's still unavailable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like I can just
which-
pop up to a CVS and get it right now.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
hopefully won't be the case by the time the fall semester is starting, because
Yeah.
I believe if you've been following the buzz or just news in general, but it should be the buzz.
Should be the buzz.
Yeah. Who are you? Are you cheating on me? No, but if you've been following the news, you know that Biden said that it should be like available to everyone in America by May 1st, which
Yeah.
is pretty
Right.
well before
Sorry, every
first-
adult though.
every adult.
well.
I'm
Oh,
No,
I guess like
yeah,
I don't know,
okay.
18.
18
Yeah.
and oh no,
Well,
wait, it might be
yes.
16 though. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not
that's
sure.
even better.
So college kids, basically. So college
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
have
so-
access to it. So
Yeah.
no issue there.
Mhm.
I think the hope too is that enough people are willing to get the vaccine to kind of start building that herd immunity and,
Yeah.
still have
Yeah.
precautions in place. But I think that as a whole will like secure a campus if, even 50% of their student body got vaccinated. I think that would be huge.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the thing is I was thinking about that and I was like, what if they're saying right now that they're going to require it for everybody, right? And then I'm wondering like because you can't I mean, yeah, you could heavily enforce that everyone gets this and prove it. But I'm wondering like if they maybe made that rule a bit looser for those who don't feel comfortable getting it, if 70% of them get it, but then that's also an unfair rule because then it's like not everybody, but it's enough for herd immunity, at least for that campus. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah,
No,
herd
it's
immunity is
complicated.
complicated.
It's
I don't know.
complicated.
I feel like I don't know. I know there is, yeah, I know there's definitely science behind herd immunity, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I don't
We're not
know.
even close to getting there yet.
Yeah,
No.
whenever somebody brings it up with COVID, it just sounds like kind of cope to me. I don't know, but
I don't.
that's just my inclination. I don't think that's based on anything.
Right. I don't know. I'm right now as far as like the US goes, it's like I think the US is technically like around 10% vaccinated or full or mostly or
Yeah, that
partially.
sounds right.
So I think for herd immunity it's be like 70 or 80, one of those two or somewhere in between, but I don't know. COVID is so weird and like new that I don't know.
I still don't know the rules of this place.
Yeah.
Still don't understand.
COVID's new territory.
Yeah, really.
That's above my pay grade, boss.
Well, moving on, would you guys, if you were really picture yourself being very desperate to get vaccinated and like go to Florida or something selfish like that, would you lie to get the vaccination?
Me
Wow.
personally, absolutely not.
That was the
That's
answer I was looking
pretty
for.
crazy. I feel like I feel like yeah, probably not. I feel like I should
I
say
hope
that
not.
before I say anything. Like for legal
Thank-
reasons, probably not. But I also feel like it kind of depends on like what I'm lying about. Like if I'm gonna say like, do I have like a serious medical condition? That's messed up.
Yeah,
You
it is
know?
messed up.
But like I don't know if it's like I don't know something trivial. I feel like it's
Like
not a
if
big
you
deal.
like let's say you lied about your occupation.
I lied.
You're like
Yeah, like
let's
I
say
don't
you
know.
lied about I work in a grocery store when you really don't.
Yeah.
Now, what if
Oh
you're
wait, that's actually kind of messed up
I
because
think
then
that
you're
counts
being
what if
an
you're
as
applying
essential
for a job,
worker.
though?
right.
What if you're
You
applying
know.
to be a part of the grocery store?
What if you're what a part of
What,
grocery?
what if you're applying to be a part of the grocery store?
I think that would count. I mean, technically, you haven't secured employment, but if you plan on working in a grocery store or an environment like that, I feel like that counts as long as you're following through and you're being honest about it. I mean, they I guess they won't really know. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah. I think the intentions are good, kind of. That, they're like enthused about getting the vaccine. But I think
Yeah.
when the beginning of like the rollout started, I think that's like really not okay because they were so limited. But I feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
now at this point to be like, if you really want to get it, you could be like, I have like really bad sinus issues. Does that qualify me? Maybe
Yeah.
stretch the truth slightly because I feel like now there isn't the, huge need
Mhm.
because more vaccines are
Right.
being rolled out. That's the hope, I would say.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the kind of what's going on now is like the issue is these vaccine or yeah, I was like, is that the right plural? Yeah, vaccine. I don't know. The vaccines have to be kept in this certain temperature, and if they're out too long or something, they are
Yeah.
literally useless. So they do have extras technically, and if people aren't scheduling appointments and or they miss an appointment,
Mhm.
then that's and people miss appointments all the time. It's a busy world even when you're on Zoom calls, you know. So I mean it makes sense that there's probably like extra that someone should get it, but I mean okay, well, so this basically where this is all coming from if you're listening. This story from the Washington Post, it was about this woman who had a friend who both of them, this woman and her friend, weren't qualified, they weren't eligible, to get the vaccine, and this woman's friend decided to like sign up and like lie about her career, saying that she worked in some sort of medical field to get the vaccine, and when she came back to her friend after she got it, she was like, oh my God, they didn't even question my career. I got it and I'm so excited. Like, woohoo, I got the vaccine, girl. And her friend was just like, what? Like, I'm not excited for you. Like, this is like weird. Like, you probably shouldn't have done that. What's worse is that this woman who the not the friend, the main lady, her mother, which this is something that's really sad, is her mother is a recovered cancer patient, and for
Mm.
some reason she's not yet eligible, and so this created kind of an ethical dilemma, I suppose, in this woman, where it's like, yeah, she's happy for her friend who got it, who doesn't really have any medical conditions or urgencies, and she got the vaccine, but her own mother is waiting her turn patiently, who needs it more, has not gotten it yet.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
I could see both sides of it now. Like now
Right.
that you mentioned, I can see, because on one hand, she's the daughter is out, usually out more susceptible than that, and she's trying to basically look out for her mom anyway. But at the same time, she didn't need it. Her mom's the one
Right.
that is more susceptible to COVID, and for something like that, it's like at the same time, being able to not have access to getting the vaccine, it just makes you wonder, like how cruel are people's intentions really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like people who are jumping the line, I mean, not to like make assumptions about people, but if you're willing to like lie to get it, it's probably because you're the kind of person who doesn't want to social distance or wear a mask, and you probably want to be going out and doing things and like, oh, I got the vaccine, I don't have to wear a mask, which
Yeah.
is also not how it works, by the
Yeah.
way. I feel like it's the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Not my
I
kind of
mean,
people.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't ask for any sort of documentation. When I
Yeah,
had to go, I
that's
had to bring a letter from the owner of the office I work at that states I'm
oh.
an employee there, and I had to print out a paycheck as well, just to
See,
like
that makes sense.
have proof that I worked there. So especially if you work in a place like a doctor's office, sometimes it's hard to prove that you have a medical condition, and I don't think that
I
should
don't
be questioned.
I don't think you even can, right? Because of HIPAA laws. I mean,
Yeah,
technically, right? I mean,
but
it's
I
not
feel like
your
working at a
doctor.
doctor's office, like
Yeah.
there's easy proof of that, and you could be taking away from actual doctors who are exposed all the time, which seems very inconsiderate. So I'm surprised they didn't ask for documentation.
Now, what happens if they caught you?
That's a really
Yeah.
good question. Like,
No, what are they gonna do? Take it
I
out of your blood?
that's like that
Like
was my
put
first
the
thought. Like, they
Like,
can't like stick it out. Like that's
yeah.
not how that works. Like, what would they even do?
Um,
Would you get in trouble for that? Like,
I don't know. I feel like
shook.
it's just like, I don't know. I could see like a sort of legal version of just like, what the heck, dude?
Like, it's not like they could arrest you. Like, I don't know. Like, I
Yeah,
don't really
that's,
know what
I
would
mean, I
happen.
guess technically, wait, I don't know. Is that what fraud is? Like, could this be considered fraud?
I mean, it is lying
that
to
would be
get
fraud, I
them.
would think. I would assume
It's a little fraudulent. You're doing a fraudulent thing.
But
Just
is
a
it just
tad.
better to get the second dose and have another vaccinated person in the world? Give them a fine, but be like, we have the second dose for you. Get it anyways. If you already got the first,
I mean, might
why
as
why
well.
wait? Yeah.
sounds like one of the
I mean, I don't know. Not that I don't really support people doing
Yeah.
that, but like, I don't know if you already got it, I get, and you got away with it. I mean, I
It's
guess
like,
I
what
don't
are you gonna
know.
do? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I think the first dose is like if you get one of the 2-dose ones, then the first dose is like what, 60% immune or protected
Oh
or something,
boy, I don't know.
something like that, and then the second one is like 90 something, depending on which one, but.
Mm.
So yeah, I guess there would be no legal repercussions, but I feel like
Yeah,
you'd have that
yeah,
on your
but-
conscience. You have
Yeah.
that ethical dilemma.
Full self. And
And here's another question, going back to this whole friendship story, is if you had a friend, like a really close friend who did this, would you still be friends with them?
I
And
would
his
judge
face is
them.
like,
I would judge them, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't like.
eyes.
I feel like if a friend did that, like, I don't know, it'd be kind of like I feel like it'd be the type of friend that would do something like that.
Stage, maybe I'd be a little bit more open just because there is so much more vaccine rollout. But
Sure.
in the very beginning, I definitely would have been
Oof. Yeah.
a little bit upset because you're taking it from the essential workers.
That is true. That does change it a little bit
That's
there.
I think the same thing. I don't want to associate if there's taking away from people that need it more than they do. But since there's more to use, it's not really overly a issue for me.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I think it's time to get a little sad, or even more sad than I normally am. I think that's.
I think that's fair, Jake. The sad news. I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I could bear it.
I understand. Okay, so Arrested Development actress Jessica Walter unfortunately passed away. Or the news was reported yesterday, and she was 80 years old. I love the show Arrested Development. She played Lucille Bluth, who was the mother, but she was phenomenal
so
in that role.
She played it so well. That was like,
absolutely.
Man, I can't imagine anyone else playing that role.
I know, right? Seriously, like she was a great actress. She was also in the show Archer, and her first significant lead was in Clint Eastwood's 1971 thriller Play Misty for Me, where she played a stalker, I believe. And I have never seen this movie, and now I need to, because I need to see her in it and honor her legacy.
1971. Wow.
I know, right? Like I feel like I never heard of that movie, but like I feel like I should have. Like Clint Eastwood,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's made a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And only like 2 of them are like worth it. I don't know.
He's kind of a well-known name, I guess, but
yeah.
But yeah, she was brilliant. I really loved her role. She made that show. I mean, it's a funny show, right? I mean, like, of course, I'll acknowledge that some of the jokes are outdated because.
Oh yeah.
Was like,
when was it? 2003.
It was early 2000s when some jokes were still that are obviously not. But aside from that, a really funny show, which her character added a lot to. I think just like one of my favorite quotes. So I'm just gonna describe this scene as she basically she's like talking about how she like loves her children equally in front of a group of people, and then it cuts to like an aside for saying, "I don't care for Job," which is like her oldest son. And I think that quote is just so funny. Her whole face is just like, very
I
mean.
can picture it.
It's so fun. I don't know why. It's just like my favorite quote, even though it's I don't care for Job. Like I don't know. It's just so funny. I don't even remember quotes that often. It just that one sticks out of my mind. It's hilarious. But yeah, she's iconic. And
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, seriously. And her daughter was the one who reported this. And they did not reveal how she passed away, but I don't think that's important to honor her legacy, if that makes sense. But yeah, Jessica Walter, amazing. Has anyone here ever seen that movie Play Misty for Me?
No, unfortunately not, but I'll have to get to it.
Yeah. I would love to see her as a stalker character. I feel like she'd be really good.
Yeah. Oh man.
She's good at like these very I guess cruel characters. I don't know.
Yeah, no, she did do that well, especially in like Archer. Thinking about it with oh wow. I don't even remember the character's name, but man.
A long time ago. I've only seen bits of Archer. I've definitely heard her voice when someone else has been playing in the background, but I never sat down and watched it. But I'm sure she's just as great as on Arrested Development.
It's kind of a similar character, except she's also the head of a spy scene.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break here on the Morning Buzz, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Buzz. If you just woke up or if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. It's the Friday edition of the Morning Buzz, and I'm Leslie Gallagher, joined by my co-host,
Jake Goetz.
Jake, you're muted. Jake.
What?
Goetz.
No, I'm not.
Jake Goetz is still muted. Anyway, and our newscaster at Broadhead, and our sportscaster Kim Martin, and our entertainment Trevor Joya.
Howdy. I'm back.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Hi.
I'm back.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. I forgot to hit the button thingy.
Hello.
Off my game today. I'm so sorry.
Leslie, it's the weather. The weather is getting to you.
The weather is getting to me.
It's not a sunny day.
Messing
You're
with my
totally
head.
fine.
Oh man.
I can't believe I just like went with that.
Oh
You're just
no.
like, I'm not muted. You can't hear me. They can't hear me.
Mhm.
Zoom issues. Actually,
Yeah.
wait, no, that wasn't a Zoom issue. That was a me issue. I can't
Oh,
blame
yeah.
Zoom.
Sorry. Oh boy.
Those old.
Disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself.
Okay.
Well, anyways, Trevor,
Anyway, yo, I'm back.
you're back. You weren't
Yeah.
here last week, but
Yeah,
you're
I
back
wasn't.
now.
I wasn't here last week, but we have a lot of entertainment news. We have a bunch. I won't talk about a certain thing that happened this week, but the deadline reports that the Sony's PlayStation Productions is doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie with John Wick's Chad Stahelski directing it. So if you've ever played that game, you know it's visually beautiful and all that stuff and very cinematic. Probably at some point we'll probably get a movie eventually, but probably not right now. But if John Wick's Chad Stahelski is behind it, it's gonna look really good. It's gonna be phenomenal to watch.
Yo, and that story in that game is phenomenal too.
If it's the John Wick director, it's gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be if you've ever seen John Wick, it's gonna be probably one of the best. Like, it's gonna be like Akira Kurosawa. I hope it is.
Yeah, I know that. I know John Wick received a lot of high praise.
It's a
So-
good movie. It is.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I need to. I haven't gotten to it. I'm awful.
It deserves the high praise.
It deserves it. But in other news, Hollywood, we got we got the last announcement for the team up movie for the Black Adam the Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, Black Adam. We got our character announcement for who's going to play Dr. Fate. Is going to be Pierce Brosnan.
Man.
It's going to be Pierce Brosnan.
Oh,
The James Bond from the early 2000s. He looks like he's going to be phenomenal in the role. He looks like Dr. Fate. If you're any type of Marvel, if you're any type of DC fan, this film, from what I've heard about it, it looks really good. It looks surprisingly good.
It's gonna be so weird to see that guy in a Marvel movie.
In a DC movie. In a DC movie.
Oh, in a superhero movie. Whatever.
Yeah, in a superhero movie. Yeah, it's gonna be weird to see him, but Black Adam is one of those characters that's gonna be also very interesting to watch because he's not technically a hero.
Ooh, is he like an anti?
Yeah, he's an anti-hero. Yeah, he's gonna be very compelling to watch. It's gonna be very interesting to watch. I think it's coming out in I think production starting in April for the movie.
Ooh, that's pretty soon.
So yeah, they're gonna start production, and we'll probably know more. Well, I'll probably try to keep you guys updated about it.
Thank you.
the big one of the other news pieces is the fact that Deadline reports that Jamie Clement and Taika Waititi's spin-off show of What We Do in the Shadows, Wellington Paranormal, is coming to CW and the HBO Max in a joint acquisition deal. So
That sounds interesting.
So, if you've ever seen the original What We Do in the Shadows, remember there's two police officers who come to the house?
I've never actually seen it.
I've never seen the movie.
So
I'm sorry.
There's a really funny scene with the two police officers at the house, and it's really funny. It's really hilarious to me.
Okay.
And it's the scene that's so funny. And they're getting their show came back. I think they did a spin-off show back in 2018. I first heard about it.
Oh yeah, I think it turned into a show.
Yeah, not the FX show, but the show. This was a show actually back in New Zealand that they did.
Oh wow.
That's how much up to date that I am. And it was a really funny show from what I saw of it. There's the opening scene basically has a scene where the two police officers are trying to help a person who is exercised.
Oh,
it's really funny. It's so
I
funny.
You said exercise.
Yeah, someone was exercising and the police had to intervene.
I was like, why is that interesting?
No, it's just
not that type of exercise.
It's really funny, and it's like we have the small folder, and it's about this big, and it's stable paranormal. I'm like, I love this. I love New Zealand accents.
Oh yeah.
Like it just looks so funny. But the big news is the fact that National Treasure is finally getting a TV series.
What?
Disney Plus.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
You got Cam's attention.
Huh?
Variety officially reported that the National Treasure series is a go. We don't know when it will release, but we know that they're working on it.
That's awesome.
Does
I
that
And
feel
mean,
like National Treasure is gonna lend itself
They're
so
gonna-
well to a TV show.
nah, does that mean Nicolas Cage is coming back?
That means Nicolas
Nick
Cage is coming back.
Cage, let's go.
supposedly.
What else is he doing?
And
honestly?
he's also like the original writer is coming back to write the show as well.
Wait,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just getting from our producer that he has never seen National Treasure. I'm like wondering how.
How?
I feel like
How
that
have
was
you
like
never
literally
seen
like
National Treasure.
I don't
That was
think I ever
childhood.
like wanted to see National Treasure. Not that I like have anything against it, but I don't think I ever actively like sought out National Treasure. But I feel like just by like
Just kind of happened.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
whether
like-
it's school, whether it's like I don't know, that's like the go-to movie to show kids.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
I
one
mean,
of
I've
the
never
best
seen it
movies.
either.
I love it. I love it.
I'm in that boat too. I've never
That's
I
seen
love
National
this
Treasure.
movie.
crazy.
I love this movie.
I feel like I saw this in school like 7 times. I
It's
don't know.
so
Honestly.
good. It's so good. It's one of those movies that actually, the first one is good. The second one's okay, but it has
Mhm.
good moments. And to me, it's really awesome and stuff. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the TV series. They're going to probably explore the family of National Treasure a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Do you
no,
think, like, for you guys that have seen it, are you worried that it'll be like a little bit
Long.
repetitive or boring if you've seen the chain of
well,
movies that the TV show will be?
I don't
Okay.
know. Not to be mean, but I feel like the series has always been kind of dumb. So even if it is kind of bad, it's like it could be
So
bad in a
it's-
kind of
it's-
campy
it's-
way.
It's always been this like, yeah, sort
It's
of
kind
like,
of goofy. So
Yeah.
like, well, in a sort of not self-aware type of way. I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like as long as they introduce some clever stuff with the mystery and it has a good premise.
yeah.
Because I guess I don't know. That's the thing with the first movie. It has such a good premise, like with the Declaration of Independence and how that's kind of like the focus. So I think if they're able to do something like that again with the TV show,
Yeah.
that could be really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
don't
gonna
try-
be
and
very it's gonna be very interesting to watch. And I
And don't
think-
try too hard. Don't try too hard.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
Alrighty, y'all, but I'm so sorry to cut you off,
No, you're
Trevor.
fine.
but
You're fine.
We're gonna move on to a very exciting interview. It's a pre-recorded interview that myself and Patrina Geiger led. We interviewed Heather O'Rourke from WABC News, which was very exciting. So we will be playing that. And also, one note is, as me, Leslie Gallagher is from the Friday Buzz, and Patrina Geiger is from the Monday Buzz. So you can always, if you would like to, tune in. You should tune into every day of the Buzz. But if you'd like to hear more of Patrina, she's always on the Monday, or she's on the Monday every other Monday.
yeah.
That's so
Gotta
confusing.
keep up with the buzz canon.
Oh yeah.
Hello, I'm Patrina Geiger.
And I'm Leslie Gallagher.
And you're listening to The Morning Buzz on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair in New Jersey. Today we're sitting down on Zoom with Heather O'Rourke, who has been working at WABC as a traffic anchor for 28 years. Heather, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Good to talk to you guys. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to chat with you because you're in the field that we're thinking of pursuing. So it's really awesome to see you be a successful woman in this field. Before we get into the questions, would you mind giving me like a rundown of maybe your typical day at your job?
Sure, I can start by what time I wake up in the morning, and then you might change your mind about what you want to do with your lives. I'm totally kidding. Now, I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. After I get my hair and my makeup, then I go into the studio and I have to fire up all my computers because I have 2 computers, one PC where I get my traffic information and the other one, which are my maps for my traffic reports. And I get myself all settled, I get mic'd up, I get my IFB on, and then we're on the air at 4:30.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's funny how you say you wake up at 2 a.m. and I think that's when most college students are like starting to go to sleep.
I know. I was once one of you. Trust me. That's why I said, this is like completely opposite of who I ever was and who I ever thought I was going to be. I was always a night owl. So now I'm just on the opposite side of night, night going into morning.
It's
It's
definitely a
crazy. It's
huge
hard.
lifestyle change. It does sound hard, but do you like it?
100%.
Yeah.
I love my job. I hate my hours, but it is nice that I do not have anybody. The only people on the road with me are a lot of truckers and then people that probably shouldn't be out driving. So the commute is very easy. I do get out of work by 9 a.m. So on most days, I'm home by 10. Some days I have to stay later, but for the most part, it's you're done at 9 or 10, but you are exhausted by 6 p.m.
Wow.
That's that's something I could never imagine. Have you gotten used to like those sleeping hours at all? Like, are you just used to like going to sleep and then waking up at like 2 in the morning?
No, I can't say that I'm used to them. I don't think you could ever get used to this because it's very difficult to adjust to the weekends because by Friday you are so tired and you want to be part of life. So you have to try to nap and then try to rally. So
Right.
That especially sounds hard with
it really is.
sounds hard with having a family too, because they probably want to do things with you during the day, and that's normally when you're really tired. A really big question of something that I've always considering my own future is like family and career balance. And as a woman in media who's clearly like very busy, how do you find that balance?
My husband is very supportive. For example, our kids are teenagers now, and I kind of feel like it was easier when they were younger because everything's easier when you're not a teenager, obviously. Teenager is kind of difficult. But I go to bed at 6, and there's a lot that goes on in our house that I'm not even aware of it happening. I know it's happening where my son plays hockey, he plays lacrosse, my daughter's a swimmer. So they have practice and meets and games late at night. So I just go about my night sleeping and he goes about his night driving them wherever they need to be. And it just works out. So I'm happy that I have a partner who is here parenting with me, where it's not just me having to do everything. It's important who you choose to spend your life with. Very important.
Right. So glad that worked out though. Are your kids young?
So my kids are 17 and 14, and in my mind, obviously that's still young. However, it just makes things a little bit easier, makes them a little bit more independent, which makes it easier on us.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so interesting to me because I feel like a lot of I don't know, just women in careers in general feel like they have to choose between family and work, but it's amazing how you've been able to have that balance and having a life partner that supports you and lets you, live out your dreams, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And in this business, I have not come across any women who feel like they need to sacrifice their career for their families. I feel like everybody is just, I don't know if you guys watch the show on Netflix. It's called Firefly Lane. Did you see it yet?
I've heard about it, but I have not seen it.
It's also a book. But there is a character in that book and in that show, and they're basically saying how somebody who goes into the news business or broadcast business, they are this is not a career, this is a lifestyle. And it really does become like a lifestyle. You're changing, you're completely opposite of everybody else as far as your working hours are. They're not your typical 9 to 5 hours. And this basically goes for broadcast journalism, in my opinion. And you have to change your whole lifestyle to do what you're doing. And if you're passionate about it, then it just becomes what it is. I don't even know what it's like to work a 9 to 5 job because I started my job when I was in college.
Yeah. You're doing it for a
not working for ABC per se. I started, and I actually work for a network. So I am a contracted employee that works at ABC. So I've done radio, television, and I've done news, I've done traffic, and it's really cool. And it's just my lifestyle.
Yeah, it's definitely different being in media, all the weird hours or you might have to work. It's a relief. It's like a weight off my shoulders for you to say that pretty much every woman in your field hasn't had to choose, because I always hear that people have to choose, but maybe that's just not true. Maybe that's just a myth, or more women are choosing not to choose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that's what it is. Why would we have to choose? We don't have to. You know,
Yeah.
in the past, if they felt that way, but their husbands didn't have to choose, or their life partner didn't have to choose, then to me, there's something wrong there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And you said you got your start in college. So how did that all start? How did you get into this field? And especially, being in college, was that difficult?
Well, I was doing an internship, and my first internship, it wasn't a good fit for me. So I pursued another internship. It was in the same field though, as traffic. I was like, okay, I'll try traffic, whatever. So I actually have a really good story if you want to hear how I got my internship.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
For it.
I called the director of operations for what was then called Metro Networks. No, it was called Metro Traffic. I was a Rutgers student. I had to do an internship. I called, and he wasn't returning my phone calls. They were located at 2 World Trade Center. So I kept calling, and this one guy who kept answering the phone said, you know what you need to do is you just need to get on a train and come here and just lie and say you have a job interview. And I did that. I got on a train. I took the train from New Brunswick to New York City by myself, which I'd never done before. And I think I was 21 at the time. And I went up to the 21st floor and I knocked on the door and I said I had an interview with him. And I didn't. And I sat down and I talked to him. And he said, all right, well, you have a great voice. When can you start? I said, right now. And he's like, good. One of my producers called out sick. Can you type? I said, yes. And he goes, okay, I need you to go start producing. And that's how I got my internship.
Wow.
So my company that I worked for at the time, my company at the time was Metro Traffic. Then it became Metro Networks. Then we became Westwood One. Then it became Metro. Now it's Total Traffic. I'm sure there were other names along the way. So during my tenure, since I was 21 years old, beginning as an intern, I was a producer, and then I was an airborne reporter, and then I started doing news for former WPLJ on a fill-in basis. And then I was doing TV, another television station from our offices on Fifth Avenue. And then when we moved over to Rutherford, I was doing ABC TV in the afternoon from our Rutherford stations. And then in 2013, I think it was 2012, ABC decided they wanted me to move to their studios, and I was working in the afternoons. And then in 2013, and I think it was January of 2013, they said, we now want you to start work in the mornings. And I've been doing it traffic in the mornings for WABC TV since 2013. So there were many different roles that I've played. And the reason why I tell this story is because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but whenever I was asked, hey, do you want to try this? Do you want to give this a try? Do you want to give that a try? I would say absolutely. So it is so important. Single hat on, try this hat on. Just try it on, because you know what? You might find one that really fits you the best.
And there's no harm in it too. You just try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least you tried.
My father said to me, I don't know how you're going to do traffic. You can't find your way out of a paper bag. So challenge accepted, Dad.
Wanted to prove him wrong.
Exactly.
All right, so Heather, I wanted to ask you a question about how important it is for women to have like roles in the media and what impact it has on women.
Well, let's go back to what you were saying earlier about women having to choose career over family. If you didn't see a presence of women in media, then you would just think that this is how it's supposed to be. So I think that breaks opinions and says, this is not the one opinion. This is not the way that everything works. It works this way, it works that way. It can work out differently for everybody. And it's good that we have a presence so that we can prove to people who are students or young women or young girls who aren't women yet, who are just girls sitting on their family room floor watching television in the morning, and they see, hey, there's a woman on TV and I can do that someday.
It's definitely super important to, have that woman role model in the media. So, right, like you said, like a young girl who would want to become that someday. Like I know, like I'm honestly a huge fan of watching the news and stuff. So like seeing women like on the news and like just being there to represent, like it's really comforting to me. It's more enjoyable to watch knowing that someday I want to be someone that's like that same role model for other girls.
I'm looking forward
That's
to seeing you
excellent.
on my screen one day, Katrina.
Yeah, me too.
I know before you were talking about a little bit of putting yourself out there and putting on all these different hats, and how in your story you were, calling him over and over, and then at some point you just went in and, saw the person who eventually hired you. Along those lines, what other advice would you have for other young women looking to get into media, and I guess any other young girls watching you?
I think it goes back to where I was saying that you just have to try so many different things. I would hate for somebody to go into media and say, all right, I want to be on camera doing the evening news, but that might not work out and it may not happen right away. So
Yeah.
go see what it's like to be a producer. Go see what it's like to be a writer. Go see what it's like to be a director. Try that out, because that might be a better fit for you. Nothing in obviously media. I don't want to downplay anybody's role in the media. But to understand how something works, for example, a television news program, in order to know how that works, it's good to know everything that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, how does a director direct talent? How does a writer write? How does an executive producer decide what stories are going to get into the news program?
Yeah, it's like when they tell filmmakers, take an acting class so that you know how to actually, direct and show people how you want them to show an emotion. You have to be able to try it yourself, even if you're not good at it. So I feel like that kind of
Yeah.
relates to that. Knowing
And I
that.
actually took acting classes when I was in college. So I think that helped out too, just because you
Oh, really?
really have to know you have to be comfortable in front of an audience. And not everybody has done it, obviously, but there are two people on our show that I know for sure that took acting classes.
Yeah. Another question, what can women allies working in the industry do to make sure that they're represented and respected in their own workplace? Loaded question, I know.
That's a tough question for me to answer for other people, but I know for myself that I try not to compete. I'm not competing with anybody that I'm working with. They're my coworkers, they're my friends, they're my teammates. I think it's important to try to drop that stereotype of competition, and
Right.
because I feel like that just breeds negative feelings that other people may have about women working together, or negative views, I should say. Um, so I think it's important for us to hold each other up and recognize each other's talents and celebrate them.
Yeah, women supporting women, because
Yeah.
it's not a competition. I mean, I feel like they always say that media it's a hard industry, and you do have to work hard to get to where you want to be. Like you said, take every opportunity and just go for it. But you can't be fighting against your own
people.
Yeah, it's like it just I like your mindset a lot. I admire it.
Yes.
Thank you. But that's not to say that men aren't competing too, but we're
Right.
discussing women right now. So
It's important to lift each other up.
Exactly.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, Heather. I think a good way to wrap up, what advice would you give to other younger women working in the industry who are about to become like a media professional?
Okay, well, my biggest advice is be strong. Don't give up when things are not going exactly the path that you want them or expecting them to go on, because not every path is straight. You're not going to find this point A to point B perfect line. You're going to have to be diverted, and that's okay. But persevere, and maybe if that one path that you expected to take isn't going the way you want it to go to the other side. Go see what that other path has for you, because that might be a better path.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us, Heather. I feel like very, I don't know, uplifted by your words and your advice and everything that you've said today. I'm sure Katrina feels the same. It was lovely talking to you. So thank you for joining us here on the Morning Buzz.
Oh, thank you for having me, and good luck to you guys. And hopefully I'll be passing in the hallways someday.
Oh yeah, maybe, just
Yes.
maybe.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
And just a reminder to anyone tuning in, you've been listening to the Morning Buzz on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair.